Forgive me, our microphone is not working at this moment, so you'll have to hear me through the voice. But we're going to start so that we can get things going. And it's my pleasure at this time to bring to the non-microphone Ned Obenesser, former East Long Meadow High School Hall of Fame inductee, and he will give us our invocation. Ned?
Thank you, Bob. Before we begin, let me ask for all the veterans of the Armed Service of the United States that you please stand, please. The very least we can do is recognize you for what your service for us, and we thank you for that and your sacrifice. I have a couple of housekeeping items. If you open up the programs, if you please turn to the Karen Wizbicki page in your Banquet program. It's 4 pages towards the front from the centerfold. There's a congratulatory note from Chuck and Carolyn Reddington. Their names were inadvertently left off as it went to the printer, but that note is from Karen and Chuck Reddington. I would also direct your attention to the page opposite Joe Scanlon. I think that's 2 full from the center page, 2 fold back. It's a tribute to these Long Meadow contributors, and we're forever grateful for their efforts. Pictured in that picture are Marshall Hanson and Joe Scanlon, who were the parade marshals for years and years and years, and there's a little epithet underneath that for them. I would now call for the presentation of the colors. Tonight with us are some very special individuals, high school seniors, athletes, who will be escorting the candidates to the podium. Julia Decker, Caitlin Forbes, Ryan Emilio, and Connor Humphreys. Presentation of the colors. Also tonight, senior Sarah LaRoe will sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare above bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Tonight, we add 4 inductees posthumously to the list of 14 other Hall of Famers that left this life far too soon. Previously recognized are Bob Carlson, Brian Fazio, Steve Forbush, Fred Hawley, Rick Page, Danny Thomas, and Rick Weaver. Coaches Dr. Jakey Upshaw, John Coombs, Robert Tobias, Gene Gauthier. Contributors Baba Trangizi, Rossi Giugio, and Marshall Hanson. Tonight, we add golf coach Dave Martin and basketball coach Dick McCormick to the memorial list, as well as athlete Steve Hawkins, who was taken from us as a young man, having accomplished much before being called to God. In addition, contributor Joe Scanlon, a cherished member of our community for more than 55 years, most of them spent in community service. We miss them all and thank them and their families for their contributions to athletics here in East Long Meadow. And now, Heavenly Father, we come to our table to celebrate this special day with joy and gratitude for the good food which we are blessed today, and for the people that have helped prepare it, and for all of God's gifts to us. You are our light and our salvation. Let us give thanks for the many gifts that we have received. Let us also remember who today are lonely and homeless. We gratefully remember, too, the family members of loved ones who were not here with us physically, and celebrate the gift which they have been and continue to be for us. We make our prayer as we do all things through you, dear Lord. Thank you. Now, if I could turn this over to the Elmcrest Country Club, you'll be called to the buffet table by table. Thank you.
It's my honor to present our president. He's a man of many endeavors, an accomplished artist, a published author, a professor. He's also a member of this Hall of Fame, and a member of the East Long Meadow Educators Hall of Fame. So with great admiration, our President, Robert Mazzarella.
You're waving it. Can you hear me on this? Is this working? Yeah. Working? Good. I was asked to signal the kid from LCAT. All right. Rich, thank you very much. You know, Rich said to me just a few minutes ago that nobody in this room is going to remember me because, you know, I'm old, you know. I want you to know that for 24 years, Rich was the principal of East Long Meadow High School. And for 13 of those years, I was his assistant, which means that he worked for 11 years. But since retiring, Rich has been involved in many endeavors. Among them, and nonetheless, the East Long Meadow School Committee, been a member of them for a long while, several other things, and he now has a job working in the emergency room at Bay State Hospital. Now, I don't know if he's a custodian, a reader, or an EMT, but I have to tell you this. When we worked together, anytime there was any blood anywhere in the school, he sent me because he couldn't stand the sight of blood. Now he works in an emergency room. Ladies and gentlemen, last year, it was my privilege to introduce Dr. Charles Reddington, past president and driving force in the birth of this Hall of Fame. And Chuck very much wanted to be here this evening. Unfortunately and sadly, was not able to attend. Okay, but we remember him well. He's living down in Florida with the Gators now. We are, however, fortunate to have at least one dignitary, or two dignitaries with us this evening. Okay, first, Ms. Angela Thorpe, the chairman of the select board. Also, Dr. Gordon Smith, our superintendent of schools. Ladies and gentlemen, there would be no Hall of Fame without the dedication and hard work of our Hall of Fame committee. They have put in many, many hours to ensure that this Hall of Fame will continue its mission and that this night will be a success. I wish to recognize them at this time. Okay. Well, you already know why. What we got? Okay. Pat Bean, our Vice President. When I call your name, either way, stand up or be acknowledged in some way. Ned Obenesser, Secretary. Lloyd Dupree, Treasurer. Mike? Carl Owen. Master of the 4th of July Parade for so many years. Steve Bizzell, our member at large. Rich Pachero. Paul Ruscio, who unfortunately was not able to attend this evening. Kathy Hood. John Courtney. Bruce. Oh yes. Bruce McKechnie. We've been going through this stuff for 30 years before. Also, Colin Drury, who is our Park and Recreation Director, who was on our board, who's not here, and Dan Mauer, our Athletic Director, who was here for, is he still here? No. Is he still with us?
No.
Oh, no, he had to leave. Okay. If some of what I say next sounds redundant, it's because it is. But at this time, I have something both sad and joyful to share with you. It is with sadness that I inform those of you who may not know the passing of two of tonight's inductees, Joe Scanlon and Steve Hawkins. Joe, who was well known, gave many years of faithful service to the youth of this community, which he loved. Steve Hawkins was a member of our 1983 state championship golf team. He was a 4-year member of the team, and it was my pleasure to be his coach. His sister Debbie is here with us this evening. The joyful news is that the induction of these two individuals into the East Long Meadow Athletic Hall of Fame as contributor and athlete will ensure that they will always be remembered with respect and affection. It should also be noted that another one of this evening's inductees, John Weaver's dad, Rick, has also passed. Rick Weaver, a former inductee, and his son were both swimmers. Rick held a school record in swimming that lasted 30 years until his son broke it. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, inductees, family members, and friends, it is once again my honor and pleasure to welcome you to our 5th East Long Meadow High School Athletic Hall of Fame induction dinner. We have a wonderful evening ahead of us, so let us begin. We are pleased to have a number of past inductees here this evening supporting their Hall of Fame. And Pat and Kathy have both given me a list, and as I call their name, I ask them to stand to be recognized. Erica Gregory Alminas. Patricia Trish Hafey. Peter Abdulis. Matt D'Amato. Doug Garland. Ryan Kennedy. Coach Ed Mongelewski. Johnny Pachetto. Mike Kathy Wisbicki Stevens. Coach Frank Dutel. Linda, I forgot the second name, Ross. Tom Benton. Ned Obenesser, who I've already mentioned. And Karen. No. Who did I miss?
Steve Alminas.
Steve.
Alminas.
I apologize. You know, John Courtney would be hollering about that because it is one of his aces, let me tell you. We thank you all for coming and supporting our Hall of Fame. The class of 2014, welcome new inductees, family, and friends. We congratulate the class of 2014, 13 inductees, including 11 athletes, representing 10 sports: swimming, cross-country, track, soccer, baseball, basketball, football, field hockey, golf, and hockey. One coach and one contributor. In addition, 2 teams will be honored this evening. The 1965-1966 boys basketball team and the 1983 state championship golf team. Each of you represents the best of our school system's athletic programs. It should be gratifying to know that your accomplishments have not gone unnoticed. This evening, as you enter East Long Meadows Hall of Fame, you can take pride in your individual achievements and the fact that your accomplishments have set the bar for those who will follow you. After all, we are and shall remain the mighty Spartans. We are fortunate to have 4 outstanding student athletes as our escorts, as already mentioned by Ned. But now I will mention them and let you know what their achievements are. They are Mr. Connor Humphreys, wrestling, football, and lacrosse. Mr. Brian Emilio, golf. Ms. Julie Decker, volleyball, basketball, and softball. And Ms. Caitlin Forbes, cheerleading and softball. At this time, I would ask all inductees or their designated recipients to report to Pat and Kathy in the rear of the dining room so that we can begin.
First, Peter Alminas, 2004. Participated in both swimming and golf. He was a Western Mass High School individual champion in 2001 and 2003. In 2002, Peter was a state individual champion. Upon graduation, Peter continued his golf career at Winthrop University in South Carolina, where he was team captain in both his junior and senior years. Peter was an academic All-American at Winthrop. He currently lives in Springfield, Massachusetts. Peter Alminas.
So I guess the microphone doesn't work, so thanks for the Hall of Fame committee for putting on tonight. It's a great night and it goes to a great cause, so I think that's the most important thing. Congratulations to all the other inductees, especially John Weaver, who's been a good friend of mine for a long time, and I got a chance to swim with John and see John pass me plenty of times. And thanks for everybody for coming out tonight.
Capasola, 1999. Sport athlete participating in hockey, baseball, and lacrosse. In hockey, Chris was all-league during his junior year and All-Western Mass second team. He was the Fay Division leading scorer that year also. In his senior year, Chris was the team captain of both the hockey and lacrosse teams. He was also Fay Division All-League in hockey and All-Western Mass first team. Chris was in the Fay Division top 10 scorers and a member of hockey's 100-point club, finishing his career with 120 points. He was selected as an athlete of the week after scoring his 100th point. Chris currently lives in East Long Meadow with his wife Heather and their two daughters Libby and Abby. Chris Capasola.
Thank you for the committee in East Long Meadow High School. It's a tremendous honor. Congratulations to all the other inductees. I'd like to thank my father, Joe, my mother, Kathy, all the money spent on me over the years. Thanks to my brother, Mike, for coming to all my practices and games, even though you really didn't have a choice. My wife, Heather, my daughter, Lily, and Addie, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Tremendous honor.
Ariana Curtis, 1998. Ariana Curtis was a 4-year, 3-sport athlete. She played soccer, softball, and track. In soccer, she was a 3-time All-Western Mass selection and a 2-time league champion. Ariana was also Western Mass track champion, team captain, and went undefeated for 2 consecutive years. Accepting for Ariana Curtis, who's going to be with us tonight, is Mr. Ned Overnesser. Jason Matulowicz, 1992. Jason Matulowicz was a 4-year, 2-sport athlete participating in both cross-country and track. He was a 4-time All-Western Mass selection in cross-country and track and a state selection in cross-country. A 2-time MVP, he captained a cross-country team his senior year. Jason was an All-League champion, PVIC champion, and a Western Mass champion, setting a school record in a 1,600-meter run. Jason Matulowicz.
Thanks, Joe Calabrese, Frank Doodle, and my father, Dennis Matulowicz. It's a great honor. Thank you.
Mike Perella, 1997. Mike Perella was a 3-sport athlete participating in hockey, golf, and soccer. He was a 4-year varsity hockey player, selected as All-League during his freshman year. He was a member of hockey's 100-point club, finishing his career with 129 points. After high school, Michael joined the Marine Corps. After basic and advanced infantry training, he was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, as a close quarters battle instructor. He was deployed in Afghanistan 4 times, earning 2 Bronze Stars of Valor, a Navy Commendation Medal, a Navy Achievement Medal, Military Outstanding Volunteer Medal, 2 Combat Action Ribbons, and 2 Certificates of Commendation. Mike currently lives in Steves Ferry, North Carolina, where he serves as a senior enlisted advisor to training and education company. Mike cannot be with us tonight, accepting for him, Mr. Ned Overnesser. Mike Perella. Joe Schiavelli, 1986. Joe Schiavelli was a 3-sport athlete, playing baseball during his freshman year, football for 3 years, and hockey all 4 years. He was captain of the football team during his senior year. He was elected to the Hockey All-Coaches League team during both his junior and senior year. As a member of hockey's 100-point club, Joe finished his high school career with 116 points. Joe has been the owner and operator of the Mountain View Drive-In for the past 25 years, employing local youths and supporting fundraisers for East Long Meadow and surrounding towns. He's still playing and loving the sport of hockey. Joe Schiavelli.
committee for this honor tonight. Try to make it short. I'd like to thank my coaches for guiding me and letting me participate in our team's success over the years. I'd like to thank my teammates. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here tonight. And as Bob already said before, I want to give a special thank you to my good friend, who passed away 10 years ago, Banquet, who's already an inductee to the Hall of Fame. So how about a moment of silence and a thank you and congratulations to Banquet. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my family. It was always nice to look up in the stands to see them cheering on our team. If you were at any of our games, you'd know it's my mother. She always had a big red Spartan blanket and that cowbell ringing all the time. I think she was really motivating us all the time. One of my favorite things was coming home from our games late at night, sitting here with my parents and talking about the game. You know, the usual recap. You know, I'd like to thank them for all the sacrifices they made over the years for me playing sports while I was growing up. So without further ado, thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you for everything.
Bob Stites, 1976. Bob Stites was a three-sport athlete participating in soccer, basketball, and baseball. During his junior year, Bob was a second-team All-Western Mass selection in soccer, a first-team All-League choice in basketball, and a first-team All-Western Mass selection in baseball. His senior year, he was captain of all three sports. He received first-team All-Western Mass honors in both soccer and baseball. Bob continued his education at Springfield College, where he was a 4-year starter in baseball. Bob currently resides in Blue Bell, Pennsylvania, with his wife Pam, and daughter Jessica, and son Michael. Bob Stites.
While driving up here today, I was trying to kind of define my athletic career at East Long Meadow. Can you remember that phrase, better lucky than good? I think that was me. I was lucky during my career that I had coaches that gave me a chance, believed in me, gave me an opportunity, especially at a young age, to play at the varsity level, which really helped me develop. I was also lucky to have teachers that constantly reminded me that high school was more than a year-long sports camp. I was lucky for the experiences that I had, that all the life lessons that you learn through playing sports that are deeply embedded in me right now, and it served me very well, not only in my professional life, but in my personal life. And I'm really lucky for the relationships that I made in high school. Some of those started long before high school and continued through high school as teammates and very, very good friends. Some of those guys are here tonight, and those will be with me for a lifetime. I want to thank all of those that work with the Hall of Fame, not only for this great night, but for the establishment of the Hall of Fame. It was 5 years ago now. It's truly wonderful, and I do know from experience how much work it takes by a lot of people. So thank you very, very much for that. And finally, to all the inductees this evening, congratulations, and it's my honor to share this evening with you. Thank you.
John Weaver, 2004. John Weaver was a 4-year swimmer, a 3-time MVP for the Spartans. John held the Western Mass sectional record in the 100-yard breaststroke. During his senior year, he won both the 100-yard breaststroke and the 200-yard medley at the state championships. During his high school career, his motivation was to break his father's 31-year-old record in the 100-yard breaststroke, which he achieved during his senior year. He was selected All-American in the 100-yard breaststroke, 58.24, in his senior year. John went on to swim at both UNH and UMass Amherst. He was a graduate assistant to the Springfield College swim team from 2008 to 2010. John currently teaches English at Long Meadow High School and coaches the JCC Cougars swim team. He lives in Enfield, Connecticut with his wife, Leah. John Weaver.
So I hope
you don't hold it against me that it's Long Meadow now. Always spark the heart. So I wrote a speech and then promptly left it at my house. So I just want to say thank you, and I'm very honored. And Pete, thanks for the nice words. I'm just reason I don't play golf too. But I just want to quickly touch on my father. I think that he really believed that sports was a transformative experience. And I think his life changed for the better when he started to excel in the water. And I think everyone here understands that what we learned and what we did in high school sports extends past those 4 years and really helps to shape who we are and who we become. So thank you for this honor, and God bless.
Tina Westcott Cafaro, 1988. Tina was a 3-year sport athlete participating in cross country, track and field, and swimming. She captained both cross country and track and field teams. Tina qualified for Western Mass in 3 events, finishing first in 800 meters. Tina broke the school record in that event also. She was a cross country MVP and was selected as most dedicated team member in both cross country and track and field. Tina was a member of the 1988 Cope Classic Volleyball Championship team. She continued her dedication to sports by coaching numerous youth teams in East Long Meadow, including soccer, basketball, and lacrosse. She serves as a member of the EL Basketball Association and was a 2013-2014 recipient of the Jake Award as Coach of the Year from the EL Recreation Commission. Currently, she resides in East Long Meadow with her husband and 3 children. Tina Westcott Cafaro.
For this fantastic honor. On the one hand, I'm completely humbled to be up here doing this, and on the other hand, I want to look at my 3 kids, Nick, Sarah, and Melissa, and say, I told you so. I used to be in good shape, and I was a good athlete. So don't forget. I have to thank my coaches at the high school, Coach Joe Calabrese, who's coming up next. He's awesome. Coach Julie Ohm, now Julie Krause, and Coach Pat Bean for the hellish workouts they gave us that made me into the athlete that I was. I also have to thank my parents, Joe and Roseanne Westcott, and my sister, Carrie Westcott, for enduring 4 years of being a family member of a high school athlete who thought the world revolved around her and sports. And in particular, thank my mom, who never once in 4 years ever missed one track meet, cross country meet, swim meet, volleyball game, you name it, never once missed one. Mom, you set the bar so high that as the mother of 2 high school athletes and an 11-year-old athlete, I don't know how I can even climb over it. I have to walk under it to get there for my kids and watch their sports. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you to the board for this fantastic event. It's a lot of fun. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
You're so much taller than I.
Karen Wisbicki, North, 1978. Karen Wisbicki was a 4-year, 2-sport athlete. She was a 4-year varsity track and field player, lettering all 4 years. She broke the school record for the 440-yard run. Karen was selected all Western Mass all 4 years as a swimmer. She was selected in the state top 10 for the last 3 years. Karen held Western Mass records, the backstroke, and the individual medley. She also held state records for the same 2 events. Karen was team MVP for 3 years and held high school records for the backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, individual medley 50 freestyle, and both individual and medley relays. She led in swimming all 4 years and was selected All-American during her senior year. Karen went on to a distinguished career as swim coach. She qualified for the Olympic swim trials as both college men's and women's coach and coached A group programs. Karen was nominated as one of the top 5 women swimming coaches in the nation. She currently lives with her husband in sunny Florida. Accepted for Karen is her sister, an inductee of the Hall of Fame, Kathy Wozbicki Stevens.
Thank you, everybody. So yes, my sister's in sunny Florida, so thank you for the recognition.
Hey, I'm calling someone. Okay. Thank you.
Kim Wozbicki Trudeau, 1974. Kim was a 4-year swimmer who also played softball her freshman year, volleyball and track her senior year. She also led in baseball for her work as a scorekeeper. As a senior, Kim went undefeated and was a Pioneer Valley swimming champion. She captained the team of both her junior and senior years. She was the first female swimmer to be selected as an outstanding swimmer by the Pioneer Valley officials her senior year. Kim broke many school records, including 4 as a freshman, 6 as a sophomore, 3 as a junior, and 4 as a senior. Kim was also a Western Mass champion in the 50 free, 100 back, and 400 medley relay. She was a double winner and a record setter at the first girls' state meet during her senior year. Selected to All Western Mass all 4 years, Kim was chosen team MVP in both her junior and senior years. Kim continued to swim at Springfield College, which was an All-American during her junior and senior years. She went on to coach ELRA, high school and college swim teams. Kim was a member of the Western Mass Swimming Officials Association, becoming the first woman president in 81-82. Kim lives with her husband Don in Venice, Florida, where she continues to swim. Kim Wozbicki Trudeau.
You've got to have that EL spirit.
Yes.
So real go-getter, you bet. If you want to get your team really set. There are so many connections here tonight, and I'm happy to be joining my classmate Trish Hasty in this club of elite athletes and coaches and contributors and teams. It's special to know what we went through and the connections that we've all made. From Bob Mazzarello poking his head into my 6th grade room and saying, I'm going to keep my eye on you. They're here. Frank Dupil helping to start the women's track program in East Long Meadow High School. I've got to thank Title IX for at least getting women in the door and participating in sports in high school. There are a lot of firsts back then. Trish and I are well aware of it, as some of you also are. So thank you all. It's fun to be here and be back in East Long Meadow. This is a great event. Thank you to the committee.
Athlete induction, we're now moving to a category for coach, Joe Calabrese. Joe Calabrese coached East Long Meadow boys and girls cross country for 26 years, as well as the girls for 10 of those years. Starting with 5 guys and 2 girls, successfully built the program to teams of 30 plus. Coach Cal, also known as athletes and to other coaches, as a dedicated mentor. Today, he still updates team statistics, loves following both East Long Meadow cross country teams. Cross country is still in his blood. He runs 5 miles every morning and walks 2 every afternoon. He and his wife Janet will be celebrating their 40th anniversary in February. They have a daughter Sarah, a son Andrew, and a granddaughter Ava. They watch Ava weekdays while their daughter works. When Joe retired in 2007, he worked correcting standardized tests for Pearson, the company that does the SAT, and also worked for the state as a consultant on the MCAS test. His principal job, though, has been as an instructional consultant, certifying teachers for the Massachusetts Initial Teaching License. In the past 7 years, he has worked with over 30 teachers in over 20 area schools, including East Long Meadow High School. They reside in Wilbraham, and Joe is co-chair of the Wilbraham Open Space and Recreation Committee. In addition to running, he enjoys hiking and reading. Coach Joe Calabrese.
Wow. Last year I got inducted into the Academic Hall of Fame. I thought it was done. I thought that was it. But East Long Meadow is a community that keeps on giving, I guess. And boy, if anybody knows that, I do. I want to thank the hundreds of athletes that I've been associated with over all those years. It's been unbelievable. Cross country is a tough sport because nobody knows what it is when they get to high school. And then when you tell them what it is, they say, "Are you kidding me? There's no way I'm going to do that." For those that stuck it out, I really appreciate the persistence that you had to do that. And I want to thank the parents because cross-country meets don't just happen in the backyards of high schools, but they're like on top of mountains and in parks and all over the place. Sometimes it's hard to find out where we are, and then when they get there, they have to jog around a lot. They want to see their athletes, they're going to have to stand over here for 5 seconds and over there for 5 seconds and over there, etc. Thanks for all the parents, and a lot of people kept coming after their athletes graduated. My assistant coaches, I coached both teams for 10 years, but after that I had some really great assistant coaches that helped me a lot, and I appreciate, the work of Coach Buck, for example, who's going to be up here someday, and Coach Manley, unbelievable. I want to thank my wife because I would leave every morning at 5:20 and I wouldn't come home till who knows when, and then I would be correcting papers the rest of the day. So we put up with that for a long time. I can't believe you did that. Appreciate that. The committee and all the work you do all year is unbelievable. This is not easy to do. I spent a whole year doing this. They really deserve a lot of credit for that. I really appreciate that. And I got to say, 40 years of watching East Long Meadow athletes, it's just incredible. We are so lucky to have all of that to see. And the people that are being honored here tonight and the ones that are in already, I've just been so fortunate to see them for the whole career. I appreciate it. So, thank you, everybody.
Our next category, contributor, Mr. Joe Scanlon. Joe has been an invaluable supporter and contributor to the development and success of East Long Meadow High School student athletes since the early 60s. Joe first organized Little League baseball tournaments and then served almost 3 decades as umpire-in-chief for all the baseball and softball leagues in town throughout the Scannick Valley. He was a founding member of the ELRA, the East Long Meadow Recreation Association, now known as the EL Recreation Department. In his role as umpire-in-chief, he fostered young players an unwavering sense of fair play and competition, while also coaching and mentoring new umpires to develop their self-confidence and integrity, many of whom were student athletes at East Long Meadow High School. Throughout his life, Joe has been a dedicated local community services volunteer. He was a member of the group who established the town's 4th of July festivities, who was honored as Grand Marshal in 1999. He received the Distinguished Citizens Award from the EL Chamber of Commerce in 1977 and the EL Lions Club in 1985. And extraordinary contributions to the Town of East Long Meadow Award from Pratt & Whitney Aircraft, his employer for almost 38 years in 1985, and the Hometown Hero Award from the Reminder in 2003. Joe and his lovely wife Rita happily called East Long Meadow their home for over 55 years, where they raised 4 children, all athletes at the high school. They've enjoyed watching and caring for 10 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. Accepting for Mr. Scanlon is his granddaughter, Ms. Carolyn Stearns.
My grandfather was a great supporter of youth sports in East Long Meadow. He loved living here and wanted kids in town to have the opportunity to play sports and have fun doing so. He was also a strong proponent of fair play and sportsmanship, and was often sought for his opinion and organizational skills on matters pertaining to youth athletics and recreation programs. As a coach, umpire, dad, and granddad, he enjoyed taking part in attending all types of local sporting events. He was a regular at many games and the greatest fan anyone could have asked for. His children and grandchildren and all of their teammates could always hear him cheering on from the stands. My grandfather was greatly honored by this nomination and would have been very pleased to accept this induction into the Hall of Fame. On behalf of my grandmother, Rita Scanlon, and all of our family, we thank you very much for this recognition.
I think it'd be nice to continue this honor by having Ms. Rita Scanlon take a stand, please. Can you take a bow? We're now moving to our last category, which is honoring two teams. The first team to be honored is the 1966 boys basketball team. The Spartan Cages posted a winning 75 seasons in league play, lost only the Classical in 7 independent games. Winning seasons by all three teams, Frost, Davie, and Varsity, marked the season that was highlighted by Steve Stites closing his high school career with 1,028 points. Brian Kennedy, Steve Stites, and Lou DeMonico scored 382 points, 325 points, and 172 points respectively during the year. Leading men in the backcourt were Brian Kennedy with 302 rebounds, and E.L.'s Bears off the boards. Doug and Dave Braga with 201 and 87 rebounds respectively. Even in defeat, the Spartans played well, losing twice by only a few points. The first Agawam game proved to be a real heartbreaker, with EL5 lost by 1 point in overtime. In the next game at Enfield, the tables returned when Doug Braga held on to a rebound in the closing seconds to clinch the Spartan victory. After staying in winning position all evening, EL lost to Agawam 77-67, still retaining a berth in the small schools tournament, which they captured as small schools champion. The 5 members here to represent that illustrious team: Dave Braga, Doug Braga, Doug Burr, Tim Curry, and Brian Kennedy. Speaking for this team, Mr. Brian Kennedy. And
I just want to speak about a little history here in East Long Meadow. My family moved to East Long Meadow in the summer of 1962 when my mother felt it was time to meet the great American dream and own her own home. So we moved out to East Long Meadow, and up till that time I had been a resident of the Forest Park area, White Street, and attended Holy Name Grammar School for the first 7 years of my education. And the one thing about that was all we did down there is play basketball constantly. Morning, noon, and night, we played basketball at Holy Name. And I came to East Long Meadow in the summer of '62, and I couldn't find any place to play basketball. So it was later on in that summer that somebody had mentioned to me about a place over on Elm Street, a home that had a basketball court, or at least a half a basketball court in the backyard. And one day I worked up the courage to go over there. And when I got over there, I was the only one there, and I started playing basketball. Of course, I brought my own basketball with me, and I started playing basketball. And I wasn't there but 10 or 15 minutes when I heard a voice from behind say to me, "Where did you get that basketball?" And as I turned around and looked, there was a gentleman with a straw, wide-brimmed hat, shorts, and rubber boots that came halfway up his leg. And he was working in his garden. Now, at that time, we had just moved from Springfield. I didn't know, gardens were something that we didn't know about in Springfield. And come to find out later on, it was his tomato garden, which was very precious to him. And I learned later on that day that the gentleman's name was Dr. Edward Stites, and he was the head basketball coach for the men's team at Springfield College, along with being the athletic director. Well, for the next 40 minutes, he came out and he gave me a lesson in something nobody here knows about, not even my teammates, something called the knife drive. And for the next 40 minutes, he insisted that I do it this way, and he took me through every move and every precision, and it was just wonderful, you know, and it was a great thing. And to us guys here, that little piece of basketball court back there is hallowed ground, it really is. And to this day, I come down from my home up off of Porter Road onto Maple Shade, and I look over there and hardly ever don't see somebody over there playing ball. You know, it's just a wonderful place. And I don't know if Dr. Stites was a visionary back then, but certainly, you know, his vision lives on when it comes to basketball in the town of East Long Meadow. And we owe him a great debt for what he has done over there and for the young people of this town over the years. And I want to talk a little about our team here. You know, one of our co-captains isn't here tonight. And he was probably, in my opinion anyways, one of the top 5 basketball players in Western Mass his senior year. I don't know how many of you know Steve Stites, but he was a wonderful athlete. Steve was a soccer player, goalie. He was a guard in basketball, and he played baseball. And he was just a wonderful athlete. Now, in my opinion, if they had had the three-point play back then, the three-point shot, Steve would have scored another 500 or 600 points, unquestionably. Because every time you put the ball in Steve's hands, it turned into points for you. Whether he took these 20-foot jump shots, which he was good at, or whether he put the ball on the ground and drove to the hoop and got fouled and went to the line and had an opportunity to shoot a couple of shots. And I'm sorry Steve wasn't able to make it tonight, because he certainly deserves to be recognized by everybody here as being the wonderful athlete that he was here in East Long Meadow. We had some other good ball players on that team. We had a gentleman by the name of Louis DeMonico. He's not present tonight. Louis lives out in California now. But they wrote a book once, and I guess it was a play or a movie, and the title of the movie was White Man Can't Jump. And Louis DeMonico, if you ever saw Louis DeMonico, he had the longest vertical jump in the city at the time. I mean, those guys down at campus didn't have anything over Louis DeMonico when it came to jumping. He was just a great, great jumper. But Louis had other attributes as a basketball player. You know, he had this wonderful jump shot. And because he could jump so high, he could stay in the air and release the ball at the top of the jump. And that made him a great shooter, just a wonderful shooter. And Louis had 38-inch arms. He was 5'11", 38-inch arms, 13.5-foot sneaker. And in my opinion, if Louis was 6'4", he could have played Division I ball at a lot of schools in this area and in other places too. He was just a great, great basketball player. We had other guys on the team. Steve was the heart and soul of this team. And we had Timmy Query, whose brother was a great basketball player at Michigan State. And Timmy came later on. I think he came his junior year to East Long Meadow. And Timmy won a lot of games for us because of his precision foul shooting. He was just a great guy. He could go to the line and just stand there and make those foul shots, something I could never do. And, you know, a couple years ago I was here with Dougie when we got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I said everything in terms of basketball that you needed to say about Dougie Bird. You know, the most unselfish basketball player I've ever had the opportunity to play with. The only time Dougie got in trouble is when he would pass up a free shot, which he did on a number of occasions, and try to get the ball into one of his teammates. Just a great guy to play ball with. Just a wonderful guy. And then we had the Brega brothers. Everybody knows the Brega brothers. You know? And the great thing about being with the Brega brothers was that no matter where you went, East Hampton, North Hampton, Westfield, in the city, you know, all the girls came out. You know, was just amazing. They all came out because they wanted to see the cutie twins. You know? That was all right with me. That was all right with me. But, you know, I want to say something about the Banquet guys. They were great defensive guys. They played wonderful defense, and they did a wonderful job of rebounding. They really did. And I was privileged to have played with them for, I think, 4 years, from 8th grade through my 11th or 12th grade. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And we had a coach, a guy by the name of John Katsulis, Coach K, we called him, the original Coach K. And, you know, he was a wonderful guy. He was very dedicated to us, spent a lot of time with us, and he had a lot of patience with me. And as a result of that, in 1966, it all came together for us, and we had a good year. We lost a couple of games that year that we shouldn't have lost, but all in all, it was a wonderful year, and it was a great experience. And it all was as a result of playing in this great little town called East Long Meadow. And tonight, we weren't sure whether the coach was going to be here tonight, but we got together and we got a little memento for him. And it says, presented to Coach John Katsulis in recognition of your dedication, time, and patience. Presented by the members of the 1966 East Long Meadow boys basketball team, small schools champions, November 22nd, 2014. And we thought an awful lot of Coach K. He spent a lot of time. He spent a lot of extra time with me because he had to, but that was all right. And I benefited from that. And I just want to thank the people of East Long Meadow. You know, back in those days, the greatest little gym was that little place over there called Birchland Park Junior High School at the time. Had the best gym in the school system at the time. And we spent a lot of time there. And then, of course, we moved on up to the high school together. And it all came together as a result of teamwork. You know, I don't think there was anybody on the team who cared how many points we scored. The only thing that really mattered to me was winning ball games. And I think this particular year we shocked a lot of people. You know, when we went into some place to play, they felt that they were playing the Farmers that night. And I think we changed their mind by the time that the whole thing, the game was ended. And so it was just a wonderful, wonderful time to grow up in this great little town of East Long Meadow. And all the people, and any recognition that I might have received as a basketball player for the East Long Meadow High School Spartans was as a result of these guys here, my teammates, because that's what we did. We felt we were a team. We did what we could do, and we worked hard at it. And Coach K worked hard at getting us to do the right thing. And I'm very pleased to say that we're pleased to be here tonight. And thank you all very much.
I got this figured out. I'm sitting, you're standing behind me. Figure this out.
Stand up. Remember, I hold the camera low.
Supposed to be a happy.
Trying to get Maz out of it. When I watched you guys play, I look so much younger. Get out of here. Get out of
Our next inductee is the 1983 golf team. The golf team had a super year under the direction of Coach Bass. The 5 seniors on the squad, John Pichetto, Kim Keating, Gary Fontaine, Tim Pillorin, Bob Bilodeau, all had excellent seasons, while sophomores Dave Ledger showed great pizzazz. The team compiled an 11-1 record to tops of the division and went on to capture the Western Mass title. In the climax of the season, they took the state title in June. John Pichero, Gary Fontaine, and Jim Killoran made to the Western Mass individuals by shooting 7 over par or better in 70% of their matches. Fontaine shot a 77, good enough for a tie for 5th. The team was good for the future with Dave Ledger and alternate Steve Hawkins and Ken in return. The members represented that illustrious team: Gary Fontaine, Steve Hawkins, accepting for Steve Hawkins' sister Debbie, Jim Killoran, John Pichero, Bob Villeneuve, and Coach Mazzarella. And speaking for the team will be Gary Fontaine and Jim Killoran.
Good evening, thank you. Again, my name is Gary Fontaine. I am a member of the 1983 Massachusetts Division I State Golf Championship team. First, I'd like to say congratulations to all the inductees who are here tonight. And secondly, I'd like to thank the East Long Meadow High School Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for the time and efforts putting together this wonderful event. I'd also like to thank the committee for selecting the 1983 Spartan golf team. Our team will now forever be remembered in Spartan sports history. That is truly something special and a great honor. 31 years ago, our team accomplished something no other Spartan team, golf team for that matter, had ever done before. As exciting as it was to win the state title, the thing I will cherish most is the friendships that were created because we played Spartan golf. To this day, I continue to stay in touch and play golf with many of the former teammates, as well as Coach Mazzarella. My brother Jim, who played on the 1974 golf team, and my son Matthew, who's here tonight, also played on the 2013 golf team, never were able to accomplish what the 1983 team did. But I can say for certain that because they played golf for the Spartans, they will always have friendships with past teammates that will last a lifetime. I'm truly honored for the recognition our team is receiving tonight. I want to thank my teammates for their efforts 31 years ago, but most importantly, I want to thank them for being my friends.
I am a joke because last night we were at Gary's house and hanging out before today's event, and I said, I want to speak. And Maz said, I got 90 seconds, so the clock's ticking.
You changed that, though.
You changed it? And I know I'm seeing everybody and I'm getting another drink and perhaps it's a little dessert. So, but I'm Jim Killer and I was part of the team as well. And you know, they say you can't come home again, and part of that's true a little bit, I guess. But Elm Crest is home to me, and the fact that we're having this here to me is really tugs on my heart. Because my dad passed away in January, and when I was a kid, this is where I learned how to play golf. My dad used to pick me up after school, and we'd go and play with my dog, and just play and play and play. And my mom used to drop me off in the summer for $2 so I could buy a hot dog and a soda. I'd play 54 and 63 holes and just play and play and play. And that was really a genesis for me to play golf. But Elm Crest really just has a sweet spot in my heart. But I really love these guys. And we've been together a long time. We get a little long in the tooth. Can't fence time. But it was great seeing Coach Maz. You know, we saw some pictures last night of us at the 4th of July parade, and it just really brought a tear to my eye a little bit. So I really appreciate the honor. This is a night I'll never forget. And God bless everybody that also got inducted, and have a good night and happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
For my final remarks, to tell this true story that I know Brian Kennedy might appreciate. Where is he?
She left.
John John Katsus was my next door neighbor. And of course, he moved out of town to Bellrica, became the assistant superintendent of schools there. And he and his wife Beverly were at Cape one year. And Beverly was in the water, walking in the ocean, and she felt something on her toe. And she tried, and she felt it again and again. She reached down, picked it out, and lo and behold, it was an East Long Meadow High School women's class ring. And she called me up in the office. She said, I'm going to send you this ring. She sent the ring to me. I gave it to Bob Camp. It had the initials inside and the like. And the girl received her, unfortunately I can't remember her name, but she got this, her ring back. That's kind of interesting. Just a couple of comments.
90 seconds.
For the past, getting these folks so long, I need to go home and shave. For the past 3 years, the East Long Meadow Hall of Fame has been proud of its affiliation with the East Long Meadow Parks and Recreation Department and providing scholarships for needy youth in our community. As a result, no child has been denied an opportunity to participate. We are pleased to assist the rec department because these same youth represent some of our future Hall of Fame athletes. And many thanks to Pat Gazelle, who provided the beautiful flowers this evening. And finally, the Hall of Fame major fundraiser is our annual golf tournament here at Elm Crest Country Club. I'm going to interject this right now. My team, they're so crazy. Tomorrow, 4 of these guys are going out and they're having a blood match at one of the local courses. Okay, they just keep going at it. But we invite all of you to participate, including my 83 team, to play in our annual golf tournament, Hall of Fame golf tournament. The date has been established. Please mark it down. It is May 11th, 2015. If you don't play, come and enjoy dinner. Okay? Once again, thank you for your support. Have a great night.